me a little bit about the 48-hour plan. How do, like, what do people learn in that that'll turn their business around?
Well, first of all, the 48-hour plan is really designed more to execute something different than it is to dig really deep. Like, I'm all about get it just about right and execute it better than the other guys, and you're going to win. I mean, the perfect plan doesn't exist, and we spend way too much time seeking perfection. And it's the elusive goal, quite frankly. It's the elusive dream. Doesn't exist. So I say, let's use it to our advantage. Let's get it just about right. What that means is, let's get it 80% right, and then spend more time figuring out how we're going to, I call it, breathe life into this puppy. How we're going to make it work. So we spend 2 days creating what I call a strategic game plan. And it's a real simple process about answering 3 questions. First question in the following order is, how big do you want to be? That's all about, you got to declare your growth goals. Do you want to grow top line at 20% per year? Do you want to grow it at 5% per year? The reason we start out with the number is the aggressiveness of the growth goal determines the character and the risk of the strategy. Most people do it the other way around. They create the strategy, then they look at the financial implications. I don't do it that way. Start out with the financial goals and then drive everything else. How big do you want to be? Interesting discussion. You get a team of people. Like, right away they think it's all about throwing numbers at the wall. It ain't about throwing numbers at the wall, right? Because once you lock and load, the whole strategy is based on that. So the second question is, who do you want to serve? You have a choice as to the customer sets. You better pick the customers that have the latent potential to deliver the how big. That's why we start out with the how big. And sometimes you have to give up some of the customers that you're now serving because they don't have the growth potential to deliver to the goals that you just set. So that's a really cool thing. And the third piece is how you're going to compete and win. And it's all about value, relevance, and uniqueness. And this is where we get into the only statement. Create an only statement through the process. So at the end of the day, you have what I call a strategic game plan statement that might look something like this. We will grow our top line revenues by 15% per year for the next 24 months. We will serve the seniors market in the greater Vancouver area, full stop. We will compete and win by providing personalized, customized service to them anytime, anywhere. And that's a strategic game plan. The other issue is, how do we make that happen so we can create objectives in the organization, have people deliver to those objectives. So in essence, what you do is you end up with a strategic game plan statement that ends up to be your elevator speech. When they say, what are you all about? Guess what happens? You have an only statement built in there. I didn't mention that. Normally it says, we will compete and win by being the only ones to that.
So who in the companies do you need to get involved?
So the basic model that I follow is, who are the stakeholders and the owners of the strategy? Who in the organization are responsible for actually delivering the results? Those are the people I want in the room. And I have kind of a neat little process. Whenever we come up with a how big goal, I go around the room, I look at every one of them. Marilyn, do you understand and agree? If you even flinch, I stop. Because you need to say it, not just to me, you need to say it to everybody in the room. Once you say it, there's no turning back. I got you. You have lost the right to question what we've done. Once I get everybody locked and loaded, we have a group hug, handshake, clap, boom, and we just move on. Typically, what happens is people go through the 48 hours and they come back and they say, well, you know, done. You understood and agreed. You and Aid, we're done. Now, we're not really done in the sense that the process is we review the strategy every 3 months because, as I said earlier, it's an organic thing that needs to
do you work with your clients every 3 months?
If they want me to do it, and if they don't want me to do it, I generally don't take the job. So every quarter we meet. St. John is a good example. In the initial stages, we met every month. The more difficult the challenge to change, the more frequently you have to meet and discuss the strategy. So I was in their faces every 30 days. They did not move without Roy being there. And now we're meeting every 3 months because we're starting to get traction and the culture's starting to change and people are now talking about dazzling customers, the only statement. We've got a great only statement for St. John and it clearly differentiates use them. We're doing customer relationship management there. We're doing some really cool things that never would have happened if they hadn't gone through this.
So now is that showing up on their bottom line or anything like that?
Well, yeah, because the budget ends up to be the how big. I mean, there's a relationship here. You create a how big, and if that's not driven down budgets and individual performance plans, it doesn't happen. So that's the execution piece. And I've done this a million years, so I make sure it happens. For example, right now, we've created a bonus plan for St. John Ambulance. Variable pay plan based on performing. Now, what are the performance goals? Strategic game plan, which is created. So you take it and you drill it down into granular levels that people understand, and if they achieve at the granular level, guess what happens? The strategy gets progressed. And that's the whole point. If you don't take the time to do that, it doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen.